Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas, this time visiting with State Representative Stephen Slesnick, who is running for Stark County Commissioner. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, public service is nothing strange to you. Tell us a little bit about your time so far serving the public as a state representative.
Well, serving as a state representative, I've currently held this office for 8 years, and I've had the opportunity to serve in the majority, but most of the time has been in the minority, which can get a little bit frustrating, especially when you're trying to get certain things done. I spent most of my time in Columbus fighting for economic growth. I've spent my time fighting to reform our failed system of public education funding, and basically fought for middle-class jobs and workers.
It would be different working at the county level. I don't think there's as much attempt to work across the aisle or a need to work across the aisle when everyone's basically working for their same neighborhoods. What do you see as the difference, and what interests you about serving as commissioner now?
Absolutely. I think that serving as commissioner is more of an executive legislative position rather than just a legislative position. And there's a board of 3 commissioners. I think that politics will take it out of the equation in most cases.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the campaign, how it's going, highlights.
Well, the campaign it's doing well. It's a lot different than running for a representative. It's countywide, and you are one who needs to be pretty much everywhere in the county to campaign rather than just the district in which they represent the representative.
Yeah. Let's say it's the first day of the job. What are you going to do first?
First, get my feet wet. Try to figure out how to get things done. Understand what the citizens of Stark County want. I fought for the citizens of Stark County for 8 years. The reason why I'm running, because I'm not yet done fighting for the people of Stark County. And I guess the first day on the job would be to get as grounded as possible to understand what the issues are and what can and needs to be done.
Yeah. What are the issues that ring most true to you? What really pulls at your heart as far as what needs to be done, and what challenges do you see ahead?
Well, my top priority has been, and it always will be, saving and attracting jobs that we desperately need here in Stark County. I plan on forging innovative partnerships. I'll see creative solutions to work around roadblocks. I'll do my best to capitalize on my knowledge of state funding sources as a member of the Finance Committee in the House to deliver as many results as possible to Stark County.
I'm thinking of outside businesses. Stark County has an awful lot to offer, doesn't it? Let's talk about that a little bit. What rings most true for you as far as some of those advantages of somebody coming here?
Well, there's abatements that can always be offered, but as far as hard sources, Stark County's got great water. And that's something that people kind of take advantage of. But our workforce is fantastic. We've got top tier workforce, and the people that employ these jobs, need them, and we'll be good at it.
Yeah. Let's say it's the last day on the job now. Let's say you won and you've got this on your resume now. You've been a Stark County Commissioner. As you look back, what do you hope to have achieved in that time?
Well, I hope to achieve, getting around some of the roadblocks, using some of the knowledge that I've learned in Columbus to bring resources and to bring stuff back to Stark County. I'd like to say that I've invested in safer roads, bridges, and neighborhoods because the safety of our families must be a priority in order to move Stark County forward. I'd like to say that the infrastructure of Stark County was done appropriately and correctly, and that we have we did move forward with economic growth.
Yeah. What would you like voters to know most about Stephen Slesnick as they go in to push some buttons tomorrow? What makes you tick?
I will always put the voters first. You know, the job is to work for the people who elected you in office. And your door's got to always be open. You always have to, and sometimes there are tough, difficult decisions to be made, but the voters will always be put first. And that my priorities will always be the same. And that's going to be economic growth, fighting for safer roads, bridges, and neighborhoods. That I will always listen to whatever they have to say.
Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people sit around and talk about the same things that you're talking about. Not all of them decide to run for office and do something about it. What do you think? What is it about you that makes you take that extra step and actually put yourself out there?
The question is, why did I do that?
Why? Yeah, what is it that makes you different? Everybody notices these things that need to be addressed. But what makes you different that you're willing to run for office and actually do something about it?
Well, Stark County's been my home my whole life, and you know, I believe it is my due diligence to run for office, to seek a position, to fight for the community that I love, to fight for the area that the county that is what I've always called home and will call home, and it's my responsibility to seek this office.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Responsibility. That's just interesting that, that you're really drawn to this. What do you do? What do you like to do when you're not at work or in service? Do you have some volunteer type of activities that interest you in this community?
Yeah, I've volunteered at kitchens before. I do quite a bit of volunteer work, but basically for the past several months there hasn't been much free time to do anything.
Sure. Well, as you're volunteering, and I know, again, this goes back to jobs, as you're volunteering in kitchens and so forth, meeting people who want to work and for some reason or another that's not happened for them. Tell us about your response to them and what you want to do for them.
Well, what I'd like to do is you've got to forge these we've got to make sure that it deals with issues at the state level. It's properly funding some of the food pantries,
mm-hmm.
properly funding the St. Akron Food Bank. And that's one of the things I always try to think creatively, or try to think of what I can do. But, there are people who do need jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
We do need good paying jobs.
Yeah. We're speaking with Stephen Slesnick. He is candidate for Stark County Commissioner. Tomorrow, be sure to vote. Stephen, you want to give a shout out to anyone who's worked on your campaign?
Well, I'd really like to thank Barbara Lewis, who has been fantastic and given her heart and soul into this, and I really do appreciate all the hard work she's done.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time with us today. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you.
And thank you for joining us on our community.